Hello and welcome to Ireland's National Concert Hall, home to some of the world's best orchestras and solo artists. But for a limited time, it's also the place where I'll be hosting a series of videos featuring Cinesamples' CinePerc library for SCOREcastonline.com. My name is Éanán Patterson, and this is Spotlight On.
Lock it up. Ready.
With over 100 gigs of combined content within the CinePerc series, there's certainly a lot to talk about. And because of that, this is one of 4 videos that SCOREcast will be putting out over the coming weeks. We've assembled an incredible team of composers to help showcase each individual edition of the library series. Los Angeles-based composer George Shaw will be walking you through CinePerc Pro. Over in the UK, we've got David Saunders bringing you CinePerc Epic. I'll be rounding off this series talking to you about CinePerc Aux. But for right now, it's time for our very own Johnny Knittle to show you the ins and outs of the first library in the CinePerc series, CORE. Let's begin.
Hey Scorecasters, Johnny Knittle here, and today we're going to look at CinePerc CORE. Coming in around 50 gigabytes, this is a deeply sampled library designed for the full versions of Kontakt 4 and 5. So take note, this will not work in the free Kontakt player. The included instruments are timpani, bass drums in 28 inches and 36 inches, several snares including concert, piccolo, popcorn, tenor, military, and metal, concert toms in 6, 8, 10, 13, 15, and 16 inch, orchestral cymbals played traditionally, scraped and bowed, gongs, tam-tam, tambourines for pop and orchestra in small and large sizes, triangles, a mark tree, glockenspiel, xylophone, and tubular bells. Each patch defaults to the Dennis Sands mix preset. That will make the instrument sound like it's being played by the player in the correct orchestra position. The close and tight mix is a great place to start if you'd like to create your own room ambiances. There's also an LFE sub channel. All the instruments containing additional low-end boost were mixed by Dennis to contain this channel. When the LFE is created, the room and surrounds transform into a quad front and quad rear channel. When using the custom preset, you'll notice that some mic positions will mute when others are turned on. This is to eliminate any phase issues from occurring. They will automatically mute as you cycle through. Several of the instruments were recorded using different sticks and mallets. Some of the mallets are chosen by playing different ranges on the keyboard, while others are switched by MIDI velocity. Bass drums and snares are changed via keyboard range. These are noted in the user manual. The timpani uses MIDI note velocity to switch between soft, medium, and hard mallets. The idea here is to automatically have an appropriate mallet used for each dynamic range. If you'd like to use any mallet at any dynamic, then you can easily switch to a different MIDI CC for the dynamics, which will let you then play hard mallets on soft notes. The snares have a snare on, snare off option, which defaults to C0 and D0 key switches. The tenor military metal snare patch uses F-sharp 0 and G-sharp 0. This may all be adjusted in the mappings page. The triangle is set up like the timpani, but rather switches between a small and large triangle to match the dynamic range. Glockenspiel switches between soft and hard mallets. The xylophone also switches between soft and hard mallets. There are a few different methods for accomplishing rolls within the library. The snare drum uses a lower neighbor style, with the B below each C being a matched drum roll. The mod wheel is the default dynamic controller here. On most of these libraries, you can play the A sharp below that to play the same roll but without a release trigger. The bass drums, toms, tambourines, and triangles all use the lower neighbor methods as well. The timpani has a dedicated keyboard range for rolls, which also uses the mod wheel for dynamics by default. In addition, the sustain pedal may be held down while playing the regularly pitched notes for a short crescendo roll. The xylophone uses the sustain pedal to switch between regular mallet hits and rolls, which is a great way to play in the parts quickly. Cinesamples has made the keyboard mapping rather consistent across all non-pitched instruments. C and D are hits, E is a flam, B is a roll. That way, the parts can quickly be switched to other mallet types or instruments by transposing or simply moving the MIDI from one track to the next. A side note, the C and D keys are usually copies of each other and are provided for playability. If you record a passage using this method, then the best practice is to take all of the Ds and move them down to the C. This will provide the best round-robin sample pattern. Another great feature that Cinesamples has provided is they set all MIDI velocities to be mapped by tens. So the switches happen at 10 to 11, 20 to 21, 30 to 31, etc. That lets you write in parts quickly if you'd like. Or when adjusting the velocity, you don't need to be so exact and you can just drag it up and down to be somewhere in that tens range. And finally, here's a short demo of the CinePerc CORE library in action. This demo features a CinePerc CORE library using the Dennis Sands mix preset. Near the middle, you hear the full CORE library again, but using the close mic mix. Then you hear both stacked together. It also uses the CineBrass CORE and CineWinds CORE libraries, all in the Dennis Sands mix preset.
CinePerc CORE retails at $299. For more information on the library and the rest of their products, why don't you visit their website at cinesamples.com. For Johnny and myself, thanks for watching, and make sure you don't miss the second installment in our special CinePerc Library series, coming soon to SCOREcastonline.com.